no claim here. It is just a sincere warning for Chaley, so he knows what he's getting into.
No, it's okay because this isn't Ivana. This is me. This is me getting out energy so that Ivana is Ivana. Hopefully, it might not.
We
be.
believe you.
Ivana just had a lot of coffee.
Yeah, while Brutus was having a religious experience, Ivana was just chugging espresso in the background.
I mean, to be fair, what I think might happen, they wouldn't be chugging a lot of coffee for this.
They found the one Starbucks in Strithman.
But also, like I've made the joke before that Ivana drinks black coffee in front of people to make themselves look mysterious and cool and quirky, but does try and add milk to it to when no one's when they think no one's looking, and I think they maybe haven't gotten a chance to sneak away to go get the milk, so they can't dilute the coffee. That's my
go off.
Sorry. Creeper.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But does everyone have dice, snack,
yes,
drink?
No. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Slay.
I'm down.
We don't have snacks in the house. I took Connor down with me to go get a snack, and there was no snack.
This is so sad.
I know. I was like, Dad, do we have any snacks in? And he's like, no, because I haven't done the food shop yet. And I was like, I thought you were going to do that yesterday. He's like, nope. Okay. And that was the conversation, because he was all wrapped up in a blanket like a sausage roll.
Go off. Do I need to pull this bus over for us to make a restroom stop?
No.
Slay.
Nope.
Oh, pee in my sleep.
Oh.
Alrighty then.
Your kink is your kink, I guess.
It's not a kink. It's
a lifestyle.
This is good. We're getting it out before the session. It's fine.
Truly. But just so you know as well, Charlie. I mean, I'm guessing you know that Quinn is not up to D&D this evening.
I had assumed as much.
Yeah. I heard a little bit about the day he had, so I sent well wishes and love and told him to go relax.
Valid.
And it seems Jenna has likely accidentally fallen asleep, which is so valid, since she's up even later than you and Chloe.
She's in Amsterdam, so that's an hour ahead.
Fair,
yeah. So it's just gonna be this game, but we are gaming. We're powerful.
Yes, we are.
And more specifically, we left off at an interesting moment last time. Now it's been a while, so I'm happy to give a recap if wanted. Though I happen to know that someone in this call extremely recently re-listened to the session. Connor, if you would like to give a recap, otherwise I can do mine.
I was listening on double speed just to double check the Krajire bits because that's the bit I zoned out on.
Valid. Alright, well, in that case, to run us back on what has happened the last session or two, you guys had been... most of you guys had been escorting Aldaz, the Aarakocra who you all suspected of wrongdoing and possible infection, and ended up crossing paths with the Archmage, and Aldaz made an assassination attempt against said Archmage. There was an ensuing battle, some spooky things happened, and you guys ended up knocking Aldaz unconscious to still bring him back as a prisoner. During this time, Grim and Maeve had also been attacked by these... Grim and Ivana. Fuck! I keep thinking it was Grim and Maeve.
You do. You really do, and I don't know why.
Man.
Well, I mean, originally it was Maeve, and then Grim was just like, Maeve, go get Ivana. I need their help. Which is probably what fucked up Wilder so badly. We changed tactics midstream.
So I can't help that we're best.
Truly.
One person has said that they would cut off people's hands for me, so I'm taking that person wherever I need to go.
But
Friends close, and your friends even closer, and your enemies the closest.
But you guys ended up getting jumped while speaking with Kurjire, one of the refugees who was writing a book about the war and had an interesting infection. After defeating the Oozes, you guys brought Kurjire and met up with the rest of the party, getting Aldaz imprisoned in the cells, and you all went in for a meeting with the Archmage, which had some odd energy to it. You found out that who you had thought was the Archmage was actually the bodyguard, and that the Archmage had been watching invisible, ready to step in if things went too dangerously, but mainly just wanting to supervise what you guys were doing and kind of get a read on your abilities and skill level. You discussed with the Archmage some of the things you've been investigating, what you found. The Archmage revealed some things in turn about the assassination attempts on the various military mages. And it seemed to go decent. After that, the Archmage Thurindus left to go and interrogate Aldaz, while the rest of you stepped aside to a conference room to both have conversations among yourselves, and also to eventually speak to Kurjire. The conversations among yourselves were tense for a while, and then Kurjire tactically interrupted to divert the conversation and explain to the rest of you about their long-form illness, the origins of it, the connection with the House of Corfell, and their abandoned lands not that far from where you currently were. And it seemed like a possible lead on this plague that you've all been investigating. After that, Kurjire, I believe Kurjire left, or it was Kurjire still in the room with you guys? I think they had left. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They also, of note, gave Ivana one of the papers that they had from when they were doing interviews with the various refugees, and the paper that Ivana has a copy of right now is from the interview with Aldaz specifically. You guys also, of note, have the crystalline container that Aldaz had with some kind of liquid inside it. You guys have not had a chance to investigate that yet. And where we immediately left off was Grim removing Brutus's pinky finger to investigate it and the infection within it. And upon doing so, Brutus had a form of religious ? Experience, and has what seems to be some kind of silvery finger as a replacement for his old pinky. And we'll pick up there. Brutus, you just got your finger chopped off.
I think he's literally just staring. Like, he's moving the hand around, how well it moves, how sensitive it is relative to, before, relative to the other fingers, how well he can move it. Just essentially testing it out, seeing how it feels, but he's not saying anything, like, jaw essentially on the floor. Like, this is obviously a very big deal to him.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else notice? Is the big question, because I feel like everyone else is looking for like.
At least, well, Ivana's watching.
I leave
would
that to you
hope
guys.
I would hope that Grim would notice.
Truly.
Well, Grim also has new sample, so Grim might be distracted. I don't know where their head's at.
I will make anyone roll any checks. I feel like it's fairly obvious if anyone was watching what was going on. Karis, do you think you were paying attention to the choppening?
Yes.
Very delicate way to put that.
What else do you want me to call it? The circumcision?
It's an amputation, you fuck. Words thing.
No, they don't. But
Sharpening sounds cuter, though.
it does.
I'm fair. But yeah, like genuinely, if no one else says anything, Brutus is just gonna put his fucking gloves back on and go on with his day. Well, like that is going in a box labeled "I will deal with that later." We have other things to do.
Well, at least I didn't call out to any of my contacts to get you a fresh one.
Yeah. That's nice.
No talking situation. Okay.
Minor religious experience. Sorry. Processing.
Right. So, what are we doing next?
Are we sure we don't want to cut off the rest of the fingers?
Okay, Nor, I fucking hate you. Because I've been thinking about this since last session. Just like, is Brutus gonna sit there like, faith begins with a leap, let's go for another one? Or are we just gonna move on? And I still don't have an answer.
How much do you trust your god?
That's the worst part, is to Brutus, up until very recently, the gods were just stories. So this is some next level shit for him. I think Brutus is still kind of shell-shocked, like, staring into the middle distance. Like, he's not looking at anybody, he's just kind of staring off into space, just like, ask me tomorrow, and maybe I'll have an answer, but I need to... That was not expected.
You're no fun.
That might be the nicest thing you've said to me.
Well, I suppose we should figure out what we're gonna do in the meantime.
There was he told us a place to investigate, right? I feel like that's an obvious next stop.
Do you think that we should maybe take Crisiere back to camp first?
Sure. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Quick out of character. At least in my notes, I may have missed something because my brain was going absolutely haywire during that session. So the place that Crisiere mentioned, the only place I have written down was like the first village, which is Crisiere's village.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another place spoken about?
So Krajira hadn't told you a specified name of their village. However, had specified that it was within the lands of House Corfell. And if any of you want to try to nail down where that might be in this proximity, you can roll a history check. Wow.
Oh, I'm good at history.
11 for Brutus.
That is a 18.
And very loud roll.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my mic. It's because it's on the lowest setting, and it has been way louder than it's supposed to be.
History. Not 18. I can do it.
Slay. Double 18.
16 plus 2 is 19 for sure. No.
Brutus, you are unsure. You're also still a bit shell-shocked, so it's a bit difficult to try and recall distant history that you didn't have to pay much attention to at the time. However, Grim and Ivana, both your own research when having to find out you were coming to this area, and also just general history. House Corfell used to be a very prominent noble house that took care of many of these lands, many of which have now been overtaken, what with the battle lines drawing closer and closer. However, House Corfell fell about 30-ish years ago and had slowly died out, not even with a bang, just a slow fizzle, and no one ever stepped forward to take charge of the lands that they were liege lord over. It's just kind of been forgotten, which it was easy to do so as their lands slowly became battlefields, so people didn't really worry about the villagers, the common folk, anything like that. So it is not that far from here. It's probably about a day's travel is where you guys are fairly certain, like, the main, like, manor of the house was. But as far as you know, it would be abandoned and nobody there. But then again, Quajera had told you guys that the current lord, Lord Coel, wants people to think he's dead and gone.
Yes.
You're...
So the abandoned house isn't in the middle of a war zone?
No, but it is a little bit closer than you guys are now. Think of it this way. The front lines are to, what would it be, the east of where you guys are now, about a day's ride, while House Corfell's lands are about, what would that be, southwest of where you are currently.
Mm-hmm. Said southwest?
Yes. So technically you'd be getting a little bit further away from the battle lines, but honestly not that far. From especially you, Ivana, with having paid attention to the military movements recently, you would know that there have been battles in that area, but not in probably the recent maybe month before you came out here. You can't really speak to like the time that you've been here, since you haven't been paying as close attention to military movements.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I would say that, Karis, you probably know the political side of that info, such as like, oh, general information. It used to be an important house, but it eventually died out, so it wasn't quite as important to your schooling so to speak.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. If you had been born 30 years ago, it would have been important. But, yeah, people die.
People die.
Oopsie poopsie.
Truly. Oh, you know, plagues.
Plagues and war zones, and
Yeah.
because eventually, especially in the war zone, like as what's going on, it's like so many people are dying. Why would they
Yeah.
focus on one
Mm-hmm.
thing?
Exactly.
Okay, so I would Ivana would relay that information
Mm-hmm.
to everyone. So that so that we are going to be going in the opposite way of the war zones, of like the current like kind of front line. It would be about a day's travel, and that there have been battles in the area at least a month ago, but that's when they kind of stopped in that area as far as
Okay, sounds like we're heading into some fun territory.
can't guarantee the safety, but if we definitely want to go there, as it seems like it may be important, I can check in with some formats and just make sure that we're not going into an active war zone, at least.
Yeah,
Right.
avoiding an active war zone would probably be good.
I would agree.
I think it'd be good to know that information and probably get at least a night's rest before heading out.
Yeah.
Also, good
A
plan.
day's walk on no is Is that where we want to go?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
Ivana's asking if that's where we want to go.
Yeah. It's our only lead so far.
And that's what we're doing.
Slip. I will say, out of character, of note to you guys, Krajere had offered to either come with you guys to, personally give reference to you all, or write a letter of introduction to Lord Coel for you guys. It is up to you all which you would prefer.
I think we're meeting Krajire at camp, aren't we? Wasn't that the deal?
But what Wilder's saying is like going with us on the to the house Corfell.
Right.
It might be best for them to stay where they are. But obviously not. It's reacting differently to their body, but very ill. Was it actually the smart for them to go on a couple of days' travel?
Let's not make this an escort mission.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
We're not bringing a commoner.
Especially not a sitcom.
I would like to say, in character, Brutus would probably think it's a good idea, but out of character, I don't trust Wilder laughing like that.
Volo can stay at camp.
Ivana would say, "Alright, it's not a smart idea to bring someone sick on a day's travel to a possibly active war zone."
No, absolutely. But also, Brutus is not actually saying anything. Like, he's just kind of going with it right now. He's still gone.
Brutus, are you inputting?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't have a lot of useful feedback right now. But yeah, this sounds like a workable plan. So sure. I don't have a better idea.
Great, we're all in consensus.
First time for everything.
whatever. Let's just get back to camp and
Camp,
we
food, sleep.
Surely. Then, as you guys gather up your things, you might have, set down your stuff while in this or whatever, getting ready to head out. Stepping back outside to head to outside the city, where I assume you're all going to camp at Vinny's camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Slay.
Go check on Vinny.
Yeah. As you all are walking back through the main room of the... I'm forgetting the word I used. Headquarters? Let's go with that. Of the city guard headquarters. In the main room where you guys step out into, most of the hubbub is going on. But of note, across the room, at the doorway that you all know leads down into the cells, Adept Sacrile, who you all know as Lyric, is standing at that door, her arms crossed, not looking particularly intimidating, just kind of leaning against the door and smirking and shaking her head no at anyone who comes close. She does not pay any particular attention to your group if you were just walking past and leaving.
I think Brutus is like... But Brutus has noticed Ivana, has noticed Lyric, and is now looking at Ivana, just not like hard, but just like zoning in just a little bit. Like, oh right, we didn't finish that conversation. Like not out loud, but just kind of, oh right, cool. Moving on.
I mean, there is no read of anything on Ivana's face. Ivana is just walking out. Like no expression, no emotion, nothing.
Slate. You all head back through the city. The area where the battle had taken place seems to have been tidied up some. The goo is gone. A lot of the common folk and refugees of the city who are still in the area look a bit freaked out, and you're sure there are a lot of rumors flying right now. And the city guard is ushering people along, just very much like, mind your business, keep about your day, keep walking. But you all exit the city without any particular issues, so there are more guards at the city entrance, but they do not stop you all. And the party arrives back at Vinny's camp with minimal issues. Speaking of Vinny, she is there currently and looks to be packing up some things and is idly chatting with Krajire, who's just kind of awkwardly perched on a log, watching her bustle around, and you all come up to hear him saying, I mean, if you want, I'm happy to help you fold that. No. Sit there. Make yourself some food, get comfy. I'm sure they'll be back soon. I got this. And she just keeps bustling around. And he just, the awkward twiddle of the thumbs of a guest at somebody's home.
It's like somebody's like the first or second time. It's like that really awkward, like, I don't know what to do.
Exactly. He seems to perk up a bit, though, at seeing you all. Hello. How did things end up going?
Great, all things considered.
Yeah.
Grim is so fucking chipper.
He's got the finger that way.
That's good. Once I left, I was pulled aside briefly to speak with that tiefling mage. I forgot her name. But she just asked a couple questions, and then I came here, and I brought dinner. I hope that's okay. I tried to bring up variety. And Miss Vinny here, just call me Vinny. Miss Vinny here, it has kindly said that I can sleep here tonight, if that is all right with all of you.
It is Vinny's house. Well, Vinny's tent. It is up to her.
Vinny like reappears from where like her top half was literally inside of like a chest. Speaking of that, guys, I'm actually packing up some of my stuff. I'll leave most of it here. If you guys, or even I guess Krujire, it's fine with me. If you all want to stay here and keep using the tent itself. However, I'm being summoned to the front lines. I don't know much details, which is pretty normal. You know, they don't want to send that information too far, considering the issues we've had with messages. Kind of gives an awkward glance towards Kajire. But I'm taking part in an operation. I should be back in a couple days, though.
Do you have like 5 minutes to talk privately?
Yeah, sure. Come on inside the main tent. Crochet, there's pots and pans in that chest. The elf just kind of awkwardly nods and goes to start cooking whatever food they had brought.
Awkward.
Exactly.
Just, this is great vibes. I'm loving this. I've been this exact person too many times. But yeah, so Brutus just kind of like sidles up to Vinny for a minute, and he's just like, so, new development.
Oh.
Takes off his glove, shows her his pinky. Had a vision when this happened.
Cool.
You deal with a god on a regular basis. I was wondering if you had advice. Because gods were kind of just a story that I was told as a kid, and now I'm finding out that they're actually literally real on a level I was not fully prepared for, so I was wondering if you maybe have advice on how to deal with that.
I'm certainly not the most, religiously informed. I will help how I can. I feel you on that. I remember when I was younger. She's like easily the youngest among your group. She's like 20, but still, compared to all of you. Yeah, I was much the same. Just kind of, you know, it was my parents' thing, not mine. And then, you know, she kind of gestures vaguely at the sky, showed up one day, and all of a sudden things were very real. So I feel you on that. Was not my area of study. Think you're better off with that one. Points to Karis.
Yeah, no, that's kind of why I'm talking to you. Like, I don't want the guy who was raised in the life. This is his life. He knows this. This is what he was raised for. One could argue it's what he was born for, if you want to get really existential about it, I guess. But, like, I need advice from someone who, like, you did not choose the life chose you, and I guess you could argue that I chose the life with the whole tattoo thing, but I, again, didn't really have context for, like, how to deal with this, like, existentially, I guess. Like, having a vision of one of the gods that I was, you know, kind of appropriated a symbol off of to, like, reassure me as I went out into the world as an adult and wanted to travel and learn and stuff is not something I was expecting while I was, getting a finger cut off. So, like, I figured I'd ask someone who wasn't raised into it first.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. However, I have to give you a piece of information for you to get where I'm coming from with my perspective on divine things. I don't
Cool.
talk about this much, and I don't want you to get a bad impression of, the matron when I say this. Because when you think about it objectively, it makes sense why she does things this way. It's just kind of very intense. So, there's necromancers in the world, that kind of thing.
I did see your massive
Yes,
bone dragon.
yes, most of them aren't great. In fact, most of them used to be very, very bad. I was not alive during the time, but the previous god of death was kind of like, everyone should be dead and serve me and be my thrall. So,
At times, don't like that.
yes, so most people don't trust necromancers, but also they kind of have an earned bad rap in most cases, not all. But it makes sense to keep a close eye on them. Within 5 minutes of me first using my necromantic abilities, the Raven Queen showed up and said I would be smited on the spot if I didn't swear to her. That is how necromancers are kept in line. We're allowed to do as we please, study as we please, as long as we are under her guidance. So
Cool.
I get what you're
You
saying
got it.
about not choosing the life. I just would have been killed if I didn't. Which I get
Gotcha.
now. At the time, kind of fucking hated it.
Right. Okay. Cool. So we have both kind of been pseudo drafted by divinity. Great. All right. Yeah. Honestly, feeling better and better about going to you instead of the guy who made this his whole life. Fair. All right. Could have been worse. Really, I suppose.
Yeah. Hey, you're not a necromancer. Congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to drown in blood or anything and give your literal life and soul. Anyways.
I also wasn't, ritualistically murdered and resurrected from my own grave.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
That thing? She kind of jerks a thumb towards Gideon's grave. Yeah, we all do that.
Okay. Wow, that...
Yep.
Okay.
It's just usually purposeful.
Okay, yeah. That could have been much... Okay, I'm gonna go have another existential crisis quietly now.
Don't worry about
Thank
that.
you.
So advice
Thank you
for you.
For context.
Yes, I was just giving that context in the sense that I'm not super respectful towards gods because of that. Don't hate them.
Fair.
But hey, they're also
Fair.
super intense. So, do you know who, it gave you that? Waves her hand towards your hand.
It was Vidaigi, right? Out of character. That's the one associated with the anchor, right? I don't want to have to go digging through my notes again.
Roll religion.
Okay, look, I know who the gods are associated with. Brutus knows this, Connor does not.
I know. I'm still making you roll.
16.
Slay.
Connor, this is a dice game for information.
Yeah. So
yeah, but this is something Brutus would actually know. This is something that's very important.
You should have read your notes.
So the anchor is not at all associated with Vidaigi.
Okay, right.
The anchor is associated with Hishanara. I tricked myself up there for a second. Okay. She is the goddess of stars and travelers and questers. and the night, and lots of fun
Right.
things.
Okay. Gotcha.
And the person you encountered in your dream, definitely had like a manicure, a womanly touch, that kind of thing. It was like the ocean and the night sky. So, Brutus, I feel like you can be pretty confident in which one you encountered.
Yes. Yes, I was getting the names backwards was the problem.
Valid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Tishinara. You know, the ocean was kind of the giveaway, and then the new finger matches the tattoo. That was also kind of a giveaway. So the Tishinara could have been worse. Could have been worse.
Yeah,
Maybe not my first choice, maybe, but could have been worse.
I mean, with what you're up to, I think maybe the one who makes the most sense. I haven't gotten a full look at your tattoos, but seems like a decent choice. I mean, if you're looking for direction and guidance, the compass herself is a pretty good choice.
True. Yeah. Anyway.
I don't personally know much about Hishinara. I mean, I've crossed paths with a few of their devotees and stuff, but not shockingly, not one who's super widely worshipped on land. So definitely interesting. Did they say anything of note to you?
There was a few things. The fun one was something about someone calling in favors and having a soft spot for the ambitious ones.
Do you know somebody who's a follower of the maiden?
The closest thing I know is me.
Let me see your tattoos.
He rolls up his sleeves, holds out his tattoos.
Have you had, and this is as she's inspecting them, have you had any other encounters of note?
There was one. Was that on the way to Srithman when we had that, or was that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there was we found a camp. I think it was a Commodian camp. And Neris over there, other arm, started burning like a warning or maybe a warding. I wasn't 100% sure, but there was something big and scary around, and I hesitate to say hungry, considering the particular company our enemies keep, but big scary things tend to be hungry, and it felt predatory, for lack of a better word.
I'm happy to poke around and do some research. I mean, if somebody's calling in a favor, because I mean, it's like you're saying, most people live their lives knowing that gods exist, but never really feeling their impact more than, say, a festival in their honor, or a healing spell, or something like that, or a wedding, So most gods just kind of idly give their blessings to their followers. So it's possible you've felt the maiden's touch before now, but it's never been, potent enough to be noticeable. For a favor to be called in, my guess is somebody who holds a lot of sway with Hishanara for whatever reason, asked them to turn their gaze to you more intently and to actively protect you. So maybe there is somebody in your life who is a worshiper or something of some kind. Or, Hey, you like Neris, right?
That when I said wouldn't have been my first choice, Neris is why.
Yeah. So the thing to know about Neris, they definitely hold a throne among the Pantheon, however, are also kind of an outlier. A kind of an outcast, not in a super bad way, but just in a doesn't get along with most gods way. I don't want you to. I don't want to be like struck down for affecting your opinions too much. To put this nicely, Neris holds a lot of blackmail on other gods. Not in a manipulation way, but in like a I'm a caring mother way. And I'm gonna make you do favors for me. Because I know where you keep your embarrassing shit.
Yeah, no, my mom used to run a mercenary company that hunted monsters professionally, so yeah, I get the vibe. That was kind of the appeal, if I'm honest.
Yeah. It's like the auntie at like the family reunion who knows way too much of everybody's shit.
Oh god, that was the one that gave me the job in the first place. Don't remind me.
So I mean, there very well could be like somebody in your life who's just a worshiper of Hishinara. Though from what you're saying, it sounds like maybe you've attracted Neris's attention somehow, and she went knocking to Hishinara and called in a favor. I don't know why they would drop a favor on you, though. No offense to you. No offense to you.
Oh, none taken. Okay, I have guesses. You know, but...
What are you like secretly like important? Brutus, you have to tell me.
No, I'm secretly like a murderer, but you know that's a whole thing.
Oh, we all are.
Well, you know, patron goddess of monsters and outcasts. You know, she likes a killer. So
yeah.
You know.
But hey, good luck with all that. Not much more I can tell you other than
thanks. If you can, you said maybe ask around to do, you know, hint, nudge at some people. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to the ocean, but I'll keep my eyes out.
No, I would not. You have a whole thing. If you can keep an eye out, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Context and, you know, extra perspective is helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Genuinely, though, I do think if you're wanting advice on godly things, that one might be your best option currently.
Yeah, remind me what god he serves again, because he never said. And I don't recognize the symbol.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, so excuse me if I'm not asking the priest who hasn't openly declared what god he's following for advice.
I mean, he's wearing like a badge right there on his robes, but I mean...
Yes,
like I said, I don't study them. I don't know.
I don't either. I know the ones I want to know about, and hey, like you said, Neris, kind of on the outside a little bit. I kind of like that. But I stay in my lane, they stay in theirs. That's how it's supposed to be. But apparently, I don't get to stay in my lane anymore. So I guess that's my fault.
Aren't you the one that, like, declared you were gonna kill a god? I don't think you're staying in your lane anymore, bud.
Well, you know, the god wants to eat the world or something. I feel like I'm justified in wanting him dead.
Here, walk with me. Hey, Karis! She just, like, strolls over in Karis' direction.
Karis will attempt to face him.
Not me going for the document, so I Connor, know which god he's about to declare for.
You'd still have to roll a religion check to a degree.
I know, but Brutus is not going to know. Like, there's basically a 0% chance Brutus knows this. I, Connor, want to know.
Hey Hey, Karis, forgive me. As Brutus here has just discovered, as much as, yes, I am a paladin, I don't study, gods or anything. Not my area of expertise. Kind of ended up in it on accident. So I don't know things and I don't pay attention to things because I'm stupid. So hey, Karis, what god do you follow?
Oh, I follow Marinunvis. Is that how it's pronounced? That's Charlie asking.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Okay, respectable. I think my dad might have worshipped it at some point. Maybe? I'm not super sure. Like I said, don't pay attention to that stuff. Thanks. Cool. So your friend here, she has to bend down a little bit to put her hands on Brutus's shoulders.
Okay, hang on. What the fuck?
Had a religious experience and is asking me questions. I don't know godly things. So here you go, Karis. He kind of pushes Brutus in your direction.
Thanks, I guess.
Yeah. You're the cleric. Have fun. I have to keep packing now. Good luck, Brutus. Just about faces and goes back to packing.
Brutus kind of looks after Vinny and then turns to Karis and just kind of goes, also, for the record, I know Vinny slightly better than I know you at this point, which is the other reason I started with them. But, yeah, hi. Religious experience. Had kind of a vision when I lost the finger. Also, the finger. Wasn't expecting that. Apparently, Tishinara had someone call in a favor. And that's why I still have a finger. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with all of that. So, yeah. Wondered if maybe you had advice.
Charlie is not a religious person, so he doesn't know what sort of advice religious people would give.
To be perfectly honest, that was another reason I didn't want to go to Carrick.
Whatever you think is best, genuinely.
I have looked up your god. This is maybe not the best one to be going
no,
to for
it's so
advice.
funny. It's so funny.
It's very funny.
Which, by the way, called it.
Is this like... Was this in front of everyone? Because I presume we're all still outside together.
I mean, that's up to... Charlie. Was Karis still with Grimmelana at that time?
What was everyone else doing while Brutus was having an existential crisis at Vinny?
I think Ivana was getting some food ready for him.
So if Ivana's with Krajire.
Yeah.
Grim probably went back to set up their table to start working on their experiments.
Schnee. Then unless Karis was off being private, then Karis is probably still in the same general area. So I would say most people can hear this, whether they want to listen in or not.
If you would like, Brutus, we could pray together at some point.
I may take you up on that when I've had just a little bit more processing time, but I don't think asking for more divine intervention is going to help me process the divine intervention I've already gotten, if that makes sense.
It does. Praying isn't just about asking for divine intervention, though. It is, as much for me at least, about meditation as it is connecting with your gods.
Fair. I never really had it communicated like that before. I might take you up on that, actually. Like I said, when I've had just a little bit more time to process. But thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I think Brutus is just I think Brutus is done talking. And again, he just kind of needs to think. So he's probably just gonna find a spot to sit and fiddle with one of his practice locks for a while. Just stare off into space and get his brain in order.
Mm-hmm. Slay. Alrighty. Ivana, if you're helping out with making food, as that conversation finishes up, Krujiri kind of leans towards you. So, what are you all planning on doing?
Now we're going to eat and we're going to sleep. At the very least, we believe you should stay here.
Sure, yeah. Are you all thinking of going to House Corfell?
We're thinking about it.
Right. Well,
If we do,
okay.
do you want to give the letter of recommendation?
Yeah, I'll write it tonight. Is there anything of note you or maybe any of the others would want me to mention?
Okay, out of character, is there anything we should be mentioning?
That's up to you guys.
Listen, Ivana is trying to cook, they're focused.
I can't think of anything.
I feel like Brutus might want to mention that he's Volka's kid, but also that could go bad depending. Considering she was the head of a monster hunter company, and they were kind of considered monsters for a little while. So I don't think he's going to mention anything.
Slay.
Well, yeah, I don't think that there is anything that should be in there unless there is anything you believe that should be in there.
Alright. Yeah. One thing to note to you before going. I mean, like I said before, he's well-intentioned. He can come off very badly. Very badly. Also, try not to have any open wounds when you go.
Well, that'll be okay for at least two of us.
Yeah, I don't know if the infection spreads to the air or if it emanates just from that area or what. So I guess protecting yourself in the best way possible.
So the air itself is infectious.
Genuinely
Or
no
thing.
clue. Genuinely no clue. All I know is that all we knew was that everyone got sick.
But this is going to be
Oh, you should also probably all bring jackets. It gets pretty cold in the islands.
Okay, we can get jackets.
Right. Well, after we eat, then I'll get started on the letter.
Do you have somewhere to stay while you're here?
Vinny had said that she would leave the tent setup, which was very, very kind, and I'm very honored at the opportunity. And she promised to give me an interview when she came back.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to pry into your business, but pretty cool that you guys are like friends with the Ruenu and stuff.
Ivan's not. Listen, Koshiri was named as one of the possible roles.
Yeah.
Ivana isn't wanting to let on. Basically, doesn't want to talk because as soon as you talk, words get misconstrued
Mm-hmm.
and information gets leaked.
Yeah.
So I think Ivana's just being a little bit careful.
Yeah. Ivana, roll me a perception check. Or actually insight, let's say.
I don't. No, I don't add anything. 14.
14. Alright. I mean, Vinny's still packing a chest not that far away. It clearly heard the conversation and looks kind of annoyed about something, but makes no comment and keeps packing.
And so Koshiri said, it's good that you're friends with Vinny or friends with someone else?
It's cool that you guys are friends with a Ruenu, and I will put the spelling here.
Would you mind reminding me who Ruben? Yes.
Roll a history check.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh, the important one.
What'd you get?
6.
6. I'll tell you what, I'll give you advantage because of something very specific.
That scares me. Actually, can I just keep the same?
You can if you want.
No, it's okay. Oh! Fucking nat 20, 22.
That's what you get for giving them advantage.
Before I give you the full answer, look at what I just sent you.
Oh god. For fuck's sake. Yes, okay.
I love to point at somebody's backstory and go, hey, read this, please.
Okay. Let me, hold on.
The second to last one, to be clear.
Oh, it's the second last one. Okay, sorry, I was like scrolling through the entire thing. There we go. Gotcha. Okay, great. Thank you.
So what I will say to you, in light of that nat 20,
Yeah.
is look at who that person is married to.
Oh,
Look
God.
at the last name. And Krajira has just identified Vinny as having that same last name. And I feel like Ivana can make some very important leaps about who Vinny might be.
Oh, fuck.
You do know that family has like 7 kids. Most of them significantly older than you, so Vinny would probably be, if not the youngest, maybe like one of the youngest.
Got it. Okay. Oh, that's why Vinny said that. Oh,
Ivana is having
Sounds like
revelations.
pennies might be dropping.
And it is interesting that Vinny, as a non-titled mage, like she's not called an adept, she's not called anything, has apparently such an important position. But anyways...
Nepo baby!
A quick point of order here. Do we want to throw an additional wrench in the works? Have Ivana roll like a deception check, or Kujire have an insight check here to see like how bad this revelation is hitting?
I was gonna roll a deception check.
To be clear, Kujire fully thought you all knew.
Thus the deception check.
So Ivana, roll me a deception check.
But the one person they said it to was the one person
who could have known. Like you and Karis are the only ones who could have possibly known this.
Okay, that is out of character information I don't even want to think about. Thank you very much.
No, it's just that you guys are the only ones studied enough in this area.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. May I do it with advantage because it's Ivana?
No.
I don't really need to, but... Oh, that's fine. That's a 19.
19. Yeah, you think you keep your face pretty schooled.
And now I would like to do an insight check to make sure that I gave nothing away.
I'm gonna say no to that, just because you already did insight, and you had gotten the vibe that Vinny had heard Kujire say that to you, seemed annoyed that he dropped that info, but did nothing to stop it. Mm-hmm. And I'll let you draw your own conclusions from that.
Great, thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
As of the level up, my passive insight is now 19.
Yes.
Would I have picked up on anything from Ivana or not?
I'm gonna ask you a question first, and I want you to answer what you think genuinely Karis would have been doing. Would Karis have been paying attention to this conversation?
Probably wouldn't have been his primary focus.
Alright. Then I'm going to say, with our rule being defender wins, I think I'd consider Ivana the defender in this scenario.
100%.
That's very fair.
So, with the 19 versus 19, no, hey, Karis, they're just chatting. They're just chatting shit. You know how it be.
Yeah.
Okay, Ruben who?
Ruenyo. Yeah. Like, it's pretty connected.
What do you mean?
I mean, what do you mean?
I don't know anyone with the name Ruben.
Miss Vinny, hadn't you said that was your last name? Vinny kind of like stops packing and just looks over. Yes, it's a big house though. It's a big family. I gotta finish packing. Just very pointedly turns away. Kujire kind of looks lost for a moment. Oh.
Kujire, I think what just happened there is maybe Vinny doesn't want us to know, since we didn't actually know.
Oh.
what their surname was.
I'm so sorry, miss. Apologies. Your your parents writing about the division of the monarchy, and Vinny just looks over. Yeah, let's just stop. Let's just stop. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm not connected with them anymore, and let's leave it at that. I'm happy to give the interview I offered to you about the uprising and stuff, but we're not getting into anything beyond that, okay? Kajiri gives a slow nod, kind of glancing in between her and then you, Ivana. Yeah, sure. Sorry. Right. So, Ivana, how do you like your eggs?
However they come is just fine. What's your preference?
I love a good scramble.
Then scrambled it is.
I do think it's very funny. So, Chloe, you think about, out of character, think about what you just learned about Vinny.
I'm eating my notebook. Eating my notebook.
And then what she was saying to Brutus about her stuff with the Raven Queen. Think about how all that went down.
I've got thoughts, but I need you to send me a full, detailed information pack later.
Although I do want to make the point, no one else was part of that conversation.
Yes, that's just out of character stuff to think about. Oh, this situation is even worse. But you guys prepare dinner, get ready for the evening. Are there any other particular conversations you all want to have before the night draws to a close?
No, but I've just got one question.
Mm-hmm.
So, when Vinny went up to Karis and Karis said what god they follow,
Mm-hmm.
did Vinny say, "Oh, my dad might have followed them at one point," or something along those lines?
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad I got that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You are, however, unsure as to the gender of Vinny's other parent.
Yes.
Like, select even. If nobody else has anything in particular, then we'll finish up the night. You guys have a meal. Vinny tries to offer Grim a plate and is continually confused whenever Grim says no. But you guys can have a watch if you want, or you don't have to. Since you all know about Aeder now, Vinny offers to, like, leave him out of his shape and let him have watch.
Mm-hmm.
Trajire doesn't, though, does he?
Oh, she doesn't give a shit.
Okay.
And Krajire, while upon seeing Aeder in full form for the first time, does look very, like, in awe of seeing something, though does not look as surprised as you all would have expected.
Oh, that's fun. The only character note I would like to add is Brutus is probably staying somewhere he can see the stars.
Slay. You sleeping out with the bone dragon?
Maybe not necessarily all the way outside, but, like, you know, near the door. You know, like, even if he's not actually under the sky, he's somewhere he can see the sky.
Fair.
Like, he falls asleep looking at the stars.
What were you saying, Grim?
Grim is just gonna go through the collections of samples and start experimenting on those while he lets the experimental elixir brew.
Slay. Are you wanting to spend some time through the night studying the finger or anything of that sort?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to sit down with Krajire properly, so yeah, I'll go with the finger.
Slay. Go ahead and roll medicine.
Medicine. That is a 18.
Slay. So, upon inspecting it, when you had looked at it earlier, while it was still attached to Brutus's hand and whatnot, and there had already been that silver ring almost keeping the infection at bay, it looked like the infection had been, maybe not fully stopped, but at least halted from any further progression. Now that it's cut off, though, and you pull it back out once more to inspect it, it seems to have fully spread to the rest of the finger now. The entire finger is blackened, but not shriveled in the way that you would normally expect a chopped off finger to be. That is to say, the flesh is not dying. It is deeply infected in every manner of it as you dissect it, inspect the layers of fat and skin, the marrow of the tip of the finger. Every single part is deeply infected, more so than even some of the bodies you had looked at. But the flesh does not die. And you're inspecting all of this, I'm assuming, while wearing gloves.
Of course.
Yes.
Never take off the gloves.
Never.
Grim never has to take off any of their fucking clothes. I imagine they wouldn't.
Never would. You don't need to see my pedicure. Or is it manicure? Which one is that?
It's manicure.
Either.
You don't get to see either.
That's what the hamster is in the mask for, just maintaining,
That's how
Grim's nails.
That's how he brushes his teeth.
What? The hamster?
Yeah, just get it on in there.
Oh no.
The hamster is part porcupine, so he's got bristles. Just, really get the gums.
Oh no.
We have gone so far off the rails with this.
But inspecting the infection, obviously it can't spread to you, what with, your skin not being bared. But it looks like the eventual progression of the illness is to fully take over the body. But it doesn't seem like its goal is to kill. So even though you've seen multiple bodies killed by this infection, Grim, you're starting to wonder if that's because maybe they weren't strong enough to take whatever the infection, whatever its end goal was. The bodies that you've seen, the only people you've been able to come across and find solid proof for is because they weren't strong enough. Maybe this flesh surviving means that Brutus would have been strong enough to survive. But then that also brings the question, how many other people are out there that have survived and are now turned and you have no idea? You thought it was just a plague. No, we're going zombie infection.
Yeah, there
I mean, as if we needed more proof that the plague is literally just the veracity going, you are my thrall now, bitch.
Which leads you in another line of questioning, Grim. If the death toll of this illness, since you've seen personally, and you've heard of even more deaths from this infection. So you have no idea what the rate of success of this could be, but apparently it's a fairly high death toll. How many people have been killed in the Empire itself? If it is still populated enough to be considered an empire and have such a powerful military, how many people did the veracity have to chew through with this infection? But yeah, that's I think some conclusions Grim could come to with this fingy.
I must have more samples.
That's going to be a hell of a wake-up call for Brutus in the morning.
Like really excited like a child on Christmas. And it comes out, it's just, I need to show you something.
I'm not ending this campaign until I have all of your hands.
But in the early hours of the morning, Grim, as you're finishing up your stuff for the night, you're finishing up the potions you've made through the night, putting away the finger somewhere safe, etc. Vinny gets up, gives you a quiet little head nod, passes a few quiet whispered words to you of saying that she has to go. It's time for her to report in. You all are free to use the tent for as long as you need, and also when you come back. And when she is done on the front lines, if she doesn't find you all here, she'll fly Eider out and try to find you all wherever you are at House Corfell. And then she leaves. Gets on her fucking bone dragon, which has little to no membrane on his wings, and yet still somehow flies.
You absolutely were not influenced by Aragon as a child.
Never. That would be crazy. It's not as if I haven't shown you a picture of me screaming with joy as a kid when I was gifted an Aragon book. But she takes off. And it's probably another 30 minutes before everyone else wakes up. But before we get to that, a quick little whip it and nay-nay.
Yeah, we gotta roll the weird dream wheel.
Yeah! We're rolling the weird dream wheel. We love a spooky dream. Hey, Karis.
Hi.
You are dreaming of your time. I don't want to out you, so your time back where you grew up. Yeah. And it's one of those dreams where everything feels real but also normal. You're going through a normal day. Things are a bit hazy, yeah, in the way dreams are. But it's all very normal, very routine. Until something starts to prickle the back of your neck. That sensation of being watched. Every time you look over your shoulder, though, it's just the people you know. There's no one of note, nobody's staring at you. Things are normal. So you go on. And that feeling doesn't fade. Someone is staring at you. Someone is watching you. And it's just the hairs on the back of your neck will not go down. And then you are on the road. You are traveling with Adeptess. The transition between the two scenarios feels foggy, yet again seamless in that way dreams normally are, but still there's that feeling of being watched, but there's nobody there. nobody that would be odd to you. And some part of your subconscious starts to wonder if this is just a dream or if this was memory. If you somehow didn't notice at the time that these things actually happened, how intensely you were being watched. You even see one specific night when you and Adept Hess had actually managed to stop your travels to spend the night in an inn, getting dinner at the tavern, and there's that feeling, there's eyes watching, looking around the tavern though, there's no one there. There's nothing. You're imagining things. That is until you turn back to the bar. The tavern keeper, you don't remember a name. You don't particularly remember a face. It's a dream. It's hard to see faces in dreams. So the face is... It makes no sense to you in the sense of dreams, except the eyes. The eyes are sharp, clear, and stark. An orange gold in the same way that your own eyes are. And they are watching you. And for the first time, you can tell. You can see the eyes that are watching you. Maybe you aren't just imagining it. But then a whisper falls in your ears that you are imagining it. This was just a dream. This never really happened. And it fades away. You find yourself waking up, Karis, still confused whether that feeling of paranoia and being stared at was just the dream, or if it had been somehow happening for a very, very long time, and the whispers just kept convincing you to forget. That's all.
That's all. Cool. Yeah, good.
Normal guy stuff. Grim, remind me, you have to do a check on long rests, right? To do your thing?
I don't have to do a check. I just have to see
Right.
what. So, am I using the one that it comes with, or am I using a?
Up to you.
I'll stick with the one that I have up. Let's see. That is a transformation potion.
Hell yeah. Sorry, I have to... I'm so good at things. Please load. Yes, so your long rest thing. Are you infusing any items or leaving as is?
I already have all my infusions used up, so I can't add another one yet.
Mm-hmm. Alright. I'm just double checking because I always forget what players have. Okay, cool, sweet. We love to hear it. Real quick, Ivana, can you roll me a stealth check?
That is a 10.
A 10. Do you think Ivana went through with it last night?
Of course they did.
Huh?
Grim, roll me a perception check.
By me.
Because you were awake.
Yeah, you were the only one not sleeping.
Well, I clearly wasn't paying attention because I rolled a 4.
Then, Ivana, we'll chat later about how that conversation of yours went.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
That's another conversation with Lyric. Clearly.
Totally. Speaking of which, Ivana, after that conversation, you'll have been given a second Stone of Far speech, one that connects directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Because no matter how that conversation goes, you're no longer reporting to Lyric. You can if you want to. Lyric will probably still make you, but...
Tough shit, bitch.
Oh
I'm
boy.
willing to
Ivana can pull rank! This is gonna be hilarious.
Oh no, it's not pulling rank. It's Ivana
It's
being
not
in
pulling
trouble.
I have done nothing.
I mean, you did a little thing that you weren't supposed to do. Unclear if Lyric knows or not.
And my worry isn't Lyric.
Oh, I forgot to tell it to loop the music. I love that. I'm so good at this.
Also, I do think it's funny. I realized Brutus genuinely only had the Stone of Far speech for a grand total of maybe 2 hours. But it is still very funny to me that we never did a thing where it's like, hey, are you getting a call?
Hey, that means it's just another reason to steal it again in the future.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
I
They
am.
just got another one. They just got another one. All it takes is one more fuck up,
Exactly.
and Brutus is gonna steal that one.
And then we flip the coin and see which one of the two you got.
To be clear, they are now being kept in an inside pocket. It now just looks like Ivana has tits. But they don't.
Go off.
I'm sorry. Hey, that's gotta be a whole conversation, right? Like, someone has to notice that when we wake up. Just like, wait a second.
I mean, does Brutus make a habit of looking?
The motherfucker is waist tall.
To be clear, that was a joke, but it is being kept on an inside pocket, and Ivana wears a lot of layers. So, good luck in getting it.
Well, you all get ready to head out. I'm assuming doing fun things like grabbing rations to bring with, perhaps grabbing coats as suggested by Krajire. Krajire does give you guys a sealed letter of introduction for Lord Coel to show that you guys are trustworthy people.
Brutus also checks his hands as per doctor's orders.
Yeah. Brutus checks his own hands.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, silver pinky.
Right, but like no advancing infection, anything like that.
No, there's the rings holding back any other infection that could be there. But nothing has gone past them.
All right, so it's still on the knuckle, still fine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
You said the letter was sealed already.
Yes.
I think later on, as we're walking away,
I also have concerns about that.
yes, I would like to buy just an envelope by itself. Is there writing on the front of the envelope?
Yeah, it says.
Or is it like a or is it a wax seal? Does Kujiri carry around a
Yeah, I was-
wax seal kit?
And
I,
Brutus is also going to be having a look at this, just like,
I want you guys to think. This is medieval times. You're talking to a guy who's a scribe. You think that bitch doesn't walk around with wax seals and wax in a million different colors?
I don't know. Should we roll?
I'm telling you.
How many
He does.
how many colors does Kujiri have?
16.
13.
do we see him seal the envelope? Becomes the question.
Yeah.
Because if we do, I would like to. Brutus is going to notice that and be like, we still don't know about this guy. I'm not like. Brutus is going to nudge Ivana and just be like, do you want to try and lift the seal so we can read the letter and pass it off as never having been opened? Or do we want to just see if we can fake it?
We can fake it.
Okay, fair enough. Less steps, I guess.
To be clear, are you guys saying you're gonna write a fake letter of introduction, or
No, we want to read the letter.
okay?
We want to read the letter, but the conversation is whether or not we want to try and steal the seal he's using on the envelope so that we can reseal it later after having read it.
Slay.
Or if we're just going to try and fake it.
Alright, as soon as you guys like leave camp, are you wanting to open it then, or are you gonna wait a little bit?
I feel like we get some distance on camp, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make really sure that, like, we're not opening it where Kujiri is going to notice.
Yeah. So, after you guys have done so, we get to talk a little bit about one of my past hyperfixations. Wax seals.
Where are you, cat?
No, wax seals.
I love a wax seal.
Truly. So,
I have a couple.
yeah.
So many good jokes.
And how to open them without destroying the wax seals. So, Ivana, as a special, you've been trained in this kind of thing, and you've done it before. So if you specifically are wanting to do this, you can go ahead and roll, let's just say, a regular sleight of hand check.
Beautiful. I will say, my sleight of hand isn't that good, but Brutus's is.
I mean, if Brutus wants to do it instead.
If so having been, like, taught how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say.
Ivana talk. So I've actually got some candles. I would like to grab a candle and just some paper, and I would like to drop some of the wax candle onto the paper, and that way teach Brutus how to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's have Ivana school Brutus, and then Brutus can try and make this.
Mm-hmm. Then Brutus can go ahead and roll with advantage.
Sleight of hand. That is a 12, and that is a 15, plus 8, 23.
Huge. So, fun fact, you see in movies, people just, like, pick up a candle and use that for their sealing wax. No, that's not how it worked. Those kinds of wax are completely different. Candle wax and the wax that was used for sealing letters were often completely different. Because candle wax was shit. They produced it so fast and quick. They took a lot more time and care when it came to the wax that was used for sealing letters. So when you're teaching Brutus, it's actually a good thing that you use candle wax to teach Brutus, because it's much harder to safely peel off a wax seal when it's done with candle wax.
You learn harder, and then everything you do after that is easier.
Exactly. So you show Brutus how to ever so slightly heat up the edge of a knife, to slide it between the layers of paper, to pry it loose so that you can keep the wax seal intact. and you practice it a couple times while riding or while stopping for some water or something. So by the time Brutus gets to the actual letter and slides in the warmed up blade, it is indeed, as they say, a hot knife through butter. It's easy to pop off the wax seal, but still keep it together enough that it will look legit when you reattach it. And inside, upon opening the letter, it seems fairly, I guess you could say, like, as expected. It's essentially just saying, Lord Quell, this is Krishire. I know I haven't been back in a while, but I've been trading letters with you and also the allies you introduced me to before I left. Things have been going as well as they can. However, I have found out that it seems the illness that plagued our home might be connected to something greater that is now killing people. Once again, these people are investigating those things. They saved my life. Da 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 da. Like just very much that kind of thing, explaining the connection between Krajira and you guys and how you guys could help. The things of note are more at the end of the letter. As Krajira is saying, I have not told them everything about you, my lord. I know that you desire to remain private about your personal matters. They do have a connection with the Archmage. I did not tell them of your position, as I know you're not quite ready. But this could be a good in. This could help us, my lord. And there's a note saying that Angar, someone called Angar once again, has left the area.
Fun. Brutus is familiar with Thieves' Cant, both written and spoken. Mm-hmm. So while I, Connor, feel like this is a fairly legit letter, I feel like Brutus is scanning it for potential ciphers, odd symbolism, anything like that.
Yeah.
Just to see.
Roll investigation.
Investigation. 14
as we
plus
get
4.
to wherever we're like staying
Mm-hmm.
or like sleeping. Ivana wants to rewrite the letter.
To be clear, you guys could get to House Corfell within a day's ride. So it's up to you guys whether you want to stop and camp along the way and have longer travel, or if you want to go straight there. I'll let you guys think on that while I answer this investigation. So taking a look, I wouldn't say they're straight up Thieves' Cant, but you do start to notice, Bruce, that there are some letters that seem oddly capitalized. And you start to understand that there is a hidden message in there. However, it is not in a language I think you speak. What languages do you speak, Brutus?
Very few. Elvish, Halfling, and Thieves' Cant. As well as Common, obviously.
Slay. Let me look through and see if any of you speak the language in question. I know one of the PCs does. It might be one of the ones who's not here right now.
God damn it. But they with us.
Oh, no!
Yeah,
No! Oh, nope, it is the other PC that's not here that speaks it. I had thought Phineas spoke it, but it did not. Maeve does speak it, though. I'll be nice, and Maeve is mentally present and can answer what it says.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, there's no way, like, Brutus recognizes a cipher and passes it around like, hey, I don't speak the language, but do the rest of you have any idea? Like, there's no way he keeps that to himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Maeve and Phineas are normally, like, clipping through the floor, but suddenly Maeve is here and T-posing and is able to answer that it is indeed Draconic. It is Draconic. It's only a few short words, and it's saying, Eider is here. he is content. And then there's another note saying, I'm still trying to figure out who the other two are.
So, okay, that's...
Do you mind sending both of those? Yeah.
Yeah. I will put it, let's say, in notes.
Because I have somehow, even though I have not moved, I've lost my notebook.
Yeah?
The ADHD is real.
It was here and now it's gone.
Eider is the bone dragon.
Yes.
Okay.
Does it
That's-
sound threatening? Like I found one of them 2 more to go.
I mean, up to you.
I was about to say that's hard to determine from a letter. There's a reason emojis exist.
Yeah, there's sadly no tone indicators, I'm sorry to say.
One found, 2 to go. Joyous. Indicated in the secret cipher,
Yeah.
by the way.
Slash pods.
Fucking hell, dude.
Ivana's just gonna turn to everyone. So, show of hands. Who wants to rewrite this letter?
What do you have in mind exactly?
Taking out the secret message.
I feel like that would give us away.
We believe the Lord would know that there is supposed to be a secret message.
We are taking a message from a suspected mole to the one who may be his handler. And we're going to redact the secret message that is probably supposed to be included in all of their correspondence each way. Doesn't feel like a great plan.
It will change it.
Unless we have a different hidden message written.
Okay. And the idea for that is?
If they're expecting a hidden message, and we give them a hidden message, then there's the proof that they're looking for that it is an authentic letter.
Mhm.
Only issue that I would have is, can you match the scribe's handwriting?
Yeah, we need to match the handwriting. We need to make sure the cipher is there. We need to make sure we're still giving our introduction. And we have to do all of this in Draconic on top of that. So we have to reverse it. It's multiple layers, and it's going to take some time. And all of this has to be done flawlessly. And on top of that, we have to completely remove, yes, I can get the seal from one letter to another. Probably fine. Thank you, Ivana. I'm sure I'm never going to abuse that skill set in my life.
You're welcome. Being old helps.
You and my mom are never allowed in the same room. Just saying. You will both be making old jokes.
It's okay, I won't bet her.
Okay. We're gonna have that conversation later because there are way too many jokes that I can make now. Fuck. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. The worst part is both I, Connor, and I, Brutus, would find that hilarious, but we're also trying to stay on topic.
Yeah, I'm laughing, but Ivana said it so deadpan and straight, and it's still very straight face. With an ever so slight smile.
And Brutus is 100% just I have so many jokes. We are going to have to that's a whole other thing that we're gonna be doing later because that's funny. Like, in Brutus's head, Ivana has gone from, yes, you're kind of a psycho, to you're psycho, but you're funny. So, jokes. I have genuinely lost my train of fucking thought. But no, just there are so many moving parts to faking this that I feel like simply the best way to go into it is, instead of planting false information that we're not sure will even take, that could give us away, we simply hold our cards close to the chest, so to speak, and not let them know we've read this until the moment seems opportune.
I'm with Brutus.
You guys do whatever you think is best.
Then we go with what Brutus and Kara said.
Alright, cool.
It is risky, but there was no harm in asking.
No, absolutely, 100%. I want to make sure that we're all aboard and going into it knowing what the risks are, and because what I want to know what you're trying to achieve here. What false flag are you planting? What trailer, like, what is the point? I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I'm saying, like, convince me. I can be convinced.
Mm-hmm.
So
from the fact that Kujire said one, I'm still looking for the other two. We don't know if this is in a friendly manner or an unfriendly manner. Do we really want to let the Lord know that Ledger is back in the town?
I mean, there's two more to be found, so that seems to imply that there will be at least one more, if not two more, messages being sent anyway.
This is true. Then we've got one more chance to intercept if it's something bad and it affects an investigation.
Assuming Krajire isn't already doing whatever it is he needs to do while we're not there, he is kind of there by himself unsupervised, which, now that I think about it, we did not think through very well, but hindsight, whatever. Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna get this seal put back, and we can get moving, I guess. I feel like we don't have enough information to try and make this trap spring properly, so let's just hope that their trap doesn't spring before ours does, assuming that they actually do have hostile intent. And Brutus is going to try to reaffix the seal and get ready to move on.
Reheat the knife, melt the back of it, stick it back together.
Yeah.
Yep, fantastic. Cool.
With Ivana's help, I'd say that the two of you can work it out without having to do another roll. But you guys set back off again. Traveling across the land. Let me grab my music. Yes, exactly. This is the roll zone, not the sound zone. What? Man.
Woman.
Why? It's not letting me play my music. This is so rude. What the fuck?
How dare.
We're going to the second music option.
By the way, it's kind of late to be asking this question, but you did remember to hit record on OBS, right?
Yes, I did, and I double checked that it was getting my mic.
Fantastic. I meant to ask you before session started, but
For some reason, the program keeps forgetting my mic specifically, like the connection to it.
that is wild.
It's fun. But this, as you all are traveling, the lands you're traveling across have definitely seen battle in the recent months, and as it gets further and further throughout the day, there starts to be more and more sign that there were recent battles, and the grassy plains begin to shift in color, becoming more pale and more almost grayed out. And here's a vibe picture for you guys. We love vibe. The grass isn't as long. It hasn't had as much time to grow. And every now and again, there's signs that there were once bodies here. There's old abandoned bits of armor that were too damaged to be salvaged and were thus left behind. There's fallen weapons that have begun to rust in the rain in the months since. And as you guys are about maybe half of the way there, in the distance, it looks like maybe there was some more recent fighting, even. As, I would say Grim, in particular, is familiar with this practice. Though, Ivana, you've probably seen it before. But there are a few corpse crews traveling through the fields, which are people with carts and ox pulling those carts, gathering bodies to keep them from rotting, spreading infection, normal infections even. Yeah, literally.
Nor beat me to the gift!
Except this is a much more solemn and quiet practice. And with one of the closest corpse crews, there's even someone walking alongside the corpse crew next to the cart, wearing these golden orange robes, seeming to mutter to themselves, possibly in prayer. Grim, I would say you specifically would know this without even having to make a check, but normally in times of particular illness or large spread death, such as battles, a follower of Grilva, the goddess of family and of flame, is sent along with to burn the bodies, both to give them their last rites and also to destroy any possible infection that could be spread. So it looks like you're not sure if maybe servants of Grilva have always been here due to the nature of this being a battlefield, or if they've been recently called here due to the infection that's spreading. This music is more intense than was supposed to be for right now, but it's okay, because my original music wasn't working. But it is a quiet and somber scene that you all watch from a distance, unless you try to get closer. This cleric walking along, saying quiet prayers, occasional flickers of fire as bodies are burnt. And they continue on, not really seeming to make any particular note of your own group. And towards the end of the day, just the barest bits of evening, probably like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. ish, the lands get truly quiet. There's no more fallen bodies, there's no more armor. You pass by what seem like abandoned farmlands as there's fallen fences and what once might have been curated fields, but they've long been left behind. And it's odd. Yes, they've been left behind, and for a moment you might think, oh, it's because of the war. But no, these are in decent shape. There's no signs of fighting. There's no torn up earth. There's no fallen, what are they? The flags on sticks that armies sometimes carry. There's nothing like that.
Banner?
Yes, that's the bitch. This land was just left. There's no people. There's no wandering animals. There's no birds. There's no personal effects. When you pass by the farmhouses, if any of you stick your heads inside, it's just empty. As if everyone packed up everything they could and left. And even further on, the grass begins to thin some. And at first, you might think what you're seeing is bits of rubble from maybe fallen buildings or something. But no, it becomes clear as you all get closer and are even walking directly through some of these things. It's not just rubble. Yes, they were bricks. They were from buildings at some point. These are buildings that were taken apart and piles of bricks were put together to create small memorials. It becomes quickly clear that where you all are, a village once stood, as there's even still some of the foundations remaining, except in an act that was done by hands that are unpracticed with stonework and would have been painstakingly slow. Somebody took apart every single building here and constructed these memorials. Made sure nobody else could live here. There's very little in terms of labels on these tombstones, for lack of a better word. It's mostly just names and nothing else. Occasionally, there's even one that's marked something like Nari, a child of 2, or Eliza, a child of 5. But it seems like the children are the only ones who get more than just their name. In the distance, there is what one might have called at some time a manor or keep, but it is long fallen to ruin in a way almost more than what you would have expected for only 30 years of being abandoned. It is quiet and it's a bit cold, and there's very early for the season, but crunching frost on the ground. And as you all stop before the manor, what would you all like to do?
This is feeling more and more, I think, to Brutus at least, like a memorial or a mausoleum. Something that would, like, again, he's the son of a former monster hunter. So, like, he's running through in his head, like, what kind of critters would be pulled towards something like this. Because, like, there was some line about, like, the Lord not wanting to reveal themselves. There was some line about, like, hunger or wanting or something that, like, I mentioned it in Peanut Gallery, but I didn't actually write down what you said. But it was like, literally, I heard it and my brain went vampire. Which I don't think Brutus would immediately jump to, but I think he is jumping to the family is concealing something beyond just the sickness. And he's running through in his head like what he's heard of, what his mom has told him about, what he would have heard mentioned, like any kind of critter that was maybe making a deal, maybe the local noble family was trying to keep on a leash, because this feels like a very specific act of not just mourning but also of regret.
Yeah.
So I
wording of the thing you said vampire 2 was Kajire saying, if you're going, don't go with any open wings.
that's what it was. Yes.
Mhm.
Which, yeah, sure, might have been a crack about the sickness, but also like pings
Doesn't
Brutus, like, yeah,
Of
like
of
again,
note,
Brutus.
yeah.
Go ahead, Wilder.
Of note, when Kujira had been telling you of Lord Coel, he'd commented that that Coel, when born, even longer than 30 years ago, had been cursed in some form. Kujira had not specified how, had not known how, as they're younger than Coel. But that healers were brought in and it was attempted to be broken or fixed or healed in some form, and eventually that is when the illness appeared after people tried to fix this quote-unquote curse, and
Yeah.
now Coel is the only one of the family who lives.
You poke
Yeah,
the bear, you
so
get the vampire.
yeah, so Brutus is 100% like in his head running through like, all right, here's what I'm seeing, here's how it matches up to lore and history and things that I know about. Like, if we discard the sickness specifically, which could be anything from a random illness to the prototype for what the Veracity is using on the front lines, whatever, like, what does this match up to? And he's probably either coming up completely dry or there's too many to count.
Yeah.
But that's where his head is at.
Schley. Are you all wanting to approach the manor?
Yeah.
Brutus is 100% Brutus is like, I'm not knocking on that door. Someone else can go first.
I'll do it.
Completely out of character voice there, Nora, but sure, awesome.
Canon, it was said exactly like that.
It was the hamster.
Everyone looks at
The hamster is canonically Nor.
Nora, it's hamster. Nora, it's been wild shaped in game. Ivana and Brutus in the background trading gold. Just like, told you.
It's like the animal inside me all along.
Inside you, there are two hamsters. What?
That's actually really bad. Hamsters are fucking vicious. They will murder you from the inside out.
That's how Grim died, canonically.
I think that was what started the joke, actually.
No, the joke started because Wilder asked me if I had herbs in my beak, and I was like, yeah, or a hamster.
But, Grim, as you approach, since you are first, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
No. Is that perception?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a 6.
Harsh.
More of an investigation.
As you're walking through like this main courtyard, that's the word. Yeah, thank you. Walking through this main courtyard towards the big door of the manor, to either side there looks to be what might have once been, the stables, storage spaces for various things, servant quarters. It looks like at one point they might have been converted to some other use, as there's like kind of ramshackle doors, like proper doors attached to both of them. And there's old faded signs on a bunch of the doors. But that's not particularly important right now. You're more focused on the door and whatever this infection is and where it's from. So you're beelining towards the door.
Yeah.
Zombie lining.
Okay.
Get
uh, uh,
Bit.
and even as you get to the door, it is open just slightly a crack.
Got my friend.
Grim will just open the door and try walking in.
Oh no.
That's gonna go wrong.
Truly. It opens with a loud and intense creak. There's a slight bit of a resistance once it gets to a certain point, but you put your shoulder to it and give it a bit of a shove, and you hear something kind of screech against the wood as it moves. And once you're able to stick your head fully inside, you can see that it looks like a couch at some point was pulled over to behind the door, maybe at some point having been a barricade, but someone else had come in and out of this door before. So it had already been moved at some point. Presumably, though, someone who was leaving from the inside to have been able to remove the couch. This hall is empty, decrepit. There's leaf litter scattered around, torn up carpets. It looks like people have already been here through the years to gut it for any riches. As you can see where frames have been torn from the wall, maybe like mounted game of some kind has been ripped down. Like, it's very clear that the manor has been gutted of anything valuable. But there still remains occasionally bits of what might have been like the house banner, which looks to be a reptile curled into a circle. Sticking your heads into these various first few rooms, it continues much the same. Rotting furniture, what has been left, but it looks like, again, anything of value has been taken long ago. There's not even any, like, rotting food left or anything. People are simply gone. It's quiet. Your footsteps are most of the noise in the building, aside from the occasional whistle of wind, presumably through long broken windows. Though if you guys are wanting to look for anything of note on this first floor, you can make investigation checks.
Oh my goodness.
I got good
Surely.
investigation. I'll roll. Oh, no.
It's fine. I have a kinky 20 to drop in there.
I got a 10.
Go off.
And that's no kinky 10.
All right.
I got a natural 20. A 22.
Yo.
Aren't you special?
Well, Grim, none of this is important to you. And
Nice.
I say this knowing Grim's character. You're focused on the prize. The prize is not here, so it's unimportant. Though with those 20s, both kinky and natural.
No, natural baby.
Brutus and Ivana, you quickly start to understand that while, yes, this place has been gutted by presumably people seeking treasures left behind by the fallen house. It's not as violent as you might have expected, of people like tearing through this house with no care for it and stealing. Uh, a lot of it looks to have been done deliberately at a quote unquote normal speed, and while it has left a damage, it is definitely not as intensive as either of you might have seen before when looking upon where people have raided things. Um, Almost like maybe somebody was telling them what was the valuable stuff and allowing them to take it, so they felt no need to rush.
Fits with the guilt theory.
But picking through, there's more and more signs, even as you come towards the back of this first floor. Doors there that might have once led out to, again, stables or maybe a back training yard or barracks or something. No locks are broken. The doors are simply open. Of note, with those 20s, the knobs are pretty big. They're for big hands. And not just in the sense of, like, these are tall people.
Chloe, I can hear you giggling.
This, whoever this manor was made for, presumably they were beings that were bigger than average folk and might have some degree of difficulty grabbing a smaller doorknob or handle of any kind. So a lot of them were adjusted for a bigger grip to get a better hold.
Are they also higher?
To a degree, yes, though not incredibly higher. Like, these aren't giants.
Okay. Yes, but I was about to say Brutus is very cognizant of that sort of thing because, you know, if it's not built for him, he's very cognizant of it. So yeah, it's important.
Get your tiptoes a little bit more.
Yeah.
He does have mage hand, so like in theory.
Yeah. Most, I'll put it this way: most homes are built under the understanding that most of the tall people who will be in there will be maybe 6 feet. So, say for example, like a door frame in our average homes is like 6.5 feet.
Right.
This house, this manor, is built under the understanding that for some reason most of the people in it will be 7 to 8 feet.
Okay.
So not a drastic height difference from, say, someone like Ivana, but definitely taller and bigger.
Me quickly Googling average height of D&D 5e Goliaths.
Yeah. But especially with that nat 20, Ivana, you do end up finding one thing that seems to be mildly hidden. You think at one point it might have been hidden, and then it wasn't hidden, and then the house fell into ruin and it was accidentally hidden once again. But you find a trap door in the back of one of the like large servant pantries where food might have been kept for large banquets or something. It looks like it was maybe part wine cellar or part something else, since you can see the stainings on the floor where a carpet had once covered it. Though again, it looks, the carpet isn't here anymore. It was removed. But then the shelves eventually collapsed in this pantry back on top of the trapdoor. You could put in the work to try and get in there if you want. It's up to you. But it definitely hasn't been opened or moved in many years, what with the rubble on top of it.
Brutus has the highest sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm. It would not be sleight of hand to move the rubble.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I'll move the rubble.
Yeah. Go ahead and.
Before Ivana moves rubble, is there a way to like get past it or behind it, or do we actually have to physically move it?
It is a trapdoor. There are stairs to go up to the second floor of the manor. This seems to be the only real basement of any kind, though. Just the single trapdoor, at least from what you
Fair enough.
guys can find. But if you want to start removing the rubble, go ahead and give me a strength check. We have so much strength in this party.
We have like fucking party.
That's a 14.
It is rough and takes longer than you would like, and is definitely more noisy than you would like. But eventually, eventually you do manage to clear it off, and can clearly open the trapdoor if you want. It looks like it did again once have a lock on it, though it is long rusted, and with a simple pull, it would probably break.
Trying to. Do I want to go down or not?
I would also like to note Brutus has probably wandered over at this point just to see what's going on. And he's just like,
very sweaty Ivana.
yeah. And he's just like, so to be clear, you are looking at the basement in a manner of what was, no offense if they happen to be hearing this, what was a very cursed and probably monstrous family. So you're going to go downstairs and invade what may very well be their private quarters instead of going upstairs where they maybe would prefer to receive visitors. Just to be clear.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to be over here. And Brutus fucks off to the doorway.
I'm clearing some of the house for them. Moving some of this rubble.
Yeah, Brutus is going to essentially back up to what he feels like is minimum safe distance, which is like the other side of like a sturdy door frame or something, and just watch. Because he does not know what's about to happen, and he is not thrilled about it.
So Ivana wears like a little kind of scarf thing. They will like kind of pull it over their head slightly and like wrap it around their face.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure that everyone is standing away will very slowly open the trapdoor, and as while opening will want to check for traps.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are Karis and Grim right now, by the way?
I was about to ask that.
Karis has just generally been wondering whilst trying to not be too far from people. Just sticking his nose into places he probably shouldn't be and having a bit of an explore.
Fair.
Seeing if there's any other valuables he can steal.
Pretty much.
So you don't think Karis is with Brutus and Ivana as Ivana's opening the trapdoor?
Probably not.
Slay. And what's about
like, not far, but not there.
Yeah.
Definitely would have heard Ivana moving rubble.
And what about Grim?
Grim is probably looking around for more for like any sign of life, any samples that they could possibly take.
Slay.
Very disinterested in
roll me investigation, and at the same time, Ivana, go ahead and roll, let's say, investigation.
Goodness. That is a 10 again.
That's an 8.
Slay. We'll get to you in a second, Ivana. Grim, you're looking for any sign of life, anything that might have been left behind, whether recently or really anything of note. And you do start to notice something in what seems like it might have been like at one time like a coat room or something of that sort, storage for that kind of like seasonal wear. There's some like severely moth-eaten coats even still in here. Yes, exactly, Connor. And it looks like caught on some of the fibers of these old coats that were presumably left behind because they're not in any condition that they'd be worth anything or be useful as a coat even. But caught inside the fibers of the coat in a way that you would expect to maybe occasionally find, hair or a bit of skin or something. Just the normal loss of body cells that a body would have. It's certainly bigger than skin cells normally are. And even with that check, it does take you a second to identify what it is, as you see small scales caught on the coat. And as you note this, swapping back to Ivana and Brutus, you creak open the trap door, checking for traps, bracing for anything at all. And Brutus, there was no footsteps behind you. There was nothing. There is simply a voice at the doorway that says, "Anything you want to know down there, I can simply answer for you." And you turn and you see a rather large white dragonborn with red eyes, dressed rather finely, and with stained claw tips in black. And we are going to end session there. Dirge stole
Also-
my design. No.
I